Hi everybody. For this video I wanted to feature a Pathe vertically cut record from my collection that I've never featured before. Actually, I've never featured any of my Pathe vertically cut records simply because I don't have a Pathe phonograph that I feel is that plays them the way that I like to hear them. So we'll talk about that in a little while. This one is Broadway Hit Medley. And what is nice about this one is it's by Lieutenant Jim Europe's 369th U.S. Infantry Hellfighters Band, which I'll give you a real quick rundown on this band. Jim Europe was a superb musician from a young age. He was born in 1880 and passed away at just 39 years old in May of 1919. When World War I struck the States here, he enlisted, and his superior officer, recognizing Jim's musical background, asked him to begin a band and just get the best people that you can, the best musicians. And among the people that Jim hired or found for the band, for his Hellfighters band, was Noble Sissle, whose fame is well known with U.B. Blake on piano later in life. Along with Noble Sissle, there were some other members, but one of which I want to speak about was Herbert Wright. Herbert Wright was one of the drummers in the band, and it was on a kind of a rainy, damp evening in Boston, Massachusetts on May 9th, 1919. Jim Europe and the Hellfighters band were performing in Boston, Massachusetts, as I mentioned. And Jim Europe was 39 years old at the time. He was in his dressing room, and in the dressing room also with him was Noble Sissle, and in rushed Herbert Wright with a knife, a small knife in his hand, and he was crazed with anger because on previous occasions Jim Europe had been riding him, Herbert Wright that is, for just not behaving, let's say, correctly or appropriately during his appearances on you know, when they were performing. And apparently Herbert Wright had had enough, and he just blew his stack, and he went into Jim Europe's dressing room, and he pulled out a small knife and stabbed Jim Europe in the neck. And unfortunately, a couple of hours later, Jim Europe was dead. And so that was the end of Jim Europe. It's a tragic end to his life. But what I wanted to do on a happy note is I wanted to play this particular record, which I'm hoping that you'll enjoy, because Jim Europe had a fabulous band. His Hellfighters band played terrific World War I type music, and very early jazz music, as well as ragtime stuff, you know, rags. His Castle House rag is very well known on Victor. But his Pathes are very uncommon, and so I thought I'd play this for you, okay? and we're going to play it on a Victor 3 with an unusual reproducer, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. Okay, so here we go. See you in about a minute. Okay, here we are back. I'm going to play the Jim Europe Broadway medley recording on one of my Victor 3s with oak horn here. But I want to tell you what it's going to be an interesting recording here, video, because I'm going to play, normally you can't play a vertically cut record on a Victor, any Victor talking machine. They're made for laterally cut records only. Victors, Columbias, you know, Perfect, Velvetone, Diva, any of those. You know, the majority of disc records are, aside from Edison diamond discs, are laterally cut. This is a vertically cut record, so what I'm going to do, or what I have done, is I have detached my exhibition reproducer, and I have installed this Vicsonia reproducer. I don't know, let's see if I can get a picture of that. There we go. So they're extremely hard to find. These allow a Victor talking machine, or Columbia, I believe Columbia, but I know Victor, you install this and you can play your vertically cut records. Isn't that amazing? So let's give it a whirl. These Vicsonias are just fantastic. Oh, and I rebuilt this with brand new gaskets this morning. So hopefully it'll sound good for you. So here we go with Jim Europe in his Hellfighters band, played on a Victor 3 with a Vicsonia reproducer. Hope you enjoy it.